Okay, good morning all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us start today's lecture. Let me start with presenting the screen. People are joining. Okay, is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us have a quick recap of what we discussed in the previous class. We started off with the greedy and non-greedy matching. We discussed the difference. Shri Hari Vaidya, can you mute your mic?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's a disturbance. Can you mute your mic? Okay. So we started off with the greedy and non-greedy matching. We discussed the difference. What is the difference between greedy matching and non-greedy? And we also saw that the Python regular expressions, they by default consider the greedy matching, right? Greedy as in it matched or it searches for the maximum match possible, and non-greedy matches searches for the minimum match that is possible, right? So we saw different examples with respect to this. We discussed the find all method, how find all method can be a good replacement for a search, right? A search method, how search method replaces only a part of the string, a matched string, but find all helps you to list out all the strings as long as there are no groups in the regular expression, right? So we saw the concept of how we can form a group. This was the example of regular expression without a group, and then we saw regular expression with a group. So find all algorithm works better, or find all method is better suitable when we have to have the list of all the string, the matched string, when there are no groups in the regular expression, right? So for example here, we were able to get the all the matched regular expression in proper format because there were no groups. If we have groups, then we get something like this, like so this is also a list, but as you can see, every group is treated or created as a new list item, right? So later we discussed about the character classes. We saw some shorthand codes for those character classes, and we also went on to create our own character class. Yeah, so we went on to create our own character class that was for the vowel regular expression. So we saw how can we create this character class and how can we get the output for it. And we also saw a special character called caret character, which was actually a negative character class, which will search for the regular expression except which is mentioned after that character, the caret character, right? So, for example, here it will in the given string, that is the input string, it will search for the regular expression except all the vowels, right? And as you can see, it was able to give us all the characters except the vowels. Then we saw, along with the caret character, we saw the dollar sign, how caret is used at the start of the regular expression, and uh, dollar is used to denote the end of the regular expression. Right. So few of you guys have given me some example, right, with respect to the USN or email IDs that we can make use of. Then one more special character we saw, that was the wildcard character, which is also called as the dot character. Right, it's a regular expression which is called wildcard, and its job is to match any character except for a new line. So that dot, whatever followed by dot, that will be matched, but except the new line, that is slash n character, right? For example, here we created the regular expression dot at, and we were able to match all the words which has at at the end, right? So matching everything with the dot star is used to match everything and dot star question mark is used to match optional, right? Then matching new lines with the dot character, matching new lines, whatever the new lines also, right? So using the dot character, that is dot all, right? By bypassing the method called re dot all, which is actually passed as the second argument for our compiler, as you can see here in this case, right? Then we did a review of all the regular expression that we saw: question mark, asterisk, plus, and different other range and the different notations that we have seen so far, along with the other special characters and uh, the caret, dollar, and so on. So this was the review, and insensitive matching also we saw in our previous lecture. That is, how can we, you know. How can we not consider the cases for the any particular input string, right? Or whether it is all capitals or some letters capitals or there is no capital, whatever that case sensitivity. How can we bring in that case insensitivity matching is what we saw using a method called re dot ignore case, right? Also can be used as re dot I. So that was again, like I said, was passed as the second argument for the compiler, right? Our main compiler, and which will ignore all the cases. Then we saw substituting string with the sub method, right? For example, we saw that the uh, statement that agent Alice gave the secret document to agent Bob, but we don't want to reveal this agent names. So how can we substitute or replace this confidential data with some substring, some unwanted or some random text there? So for that, the sub method is used. Sub method takes the first argument as the data or the string that we want to replace with, and second argument is the actual string in which we have to replace. Right. So censor the statement agent Alice gave the secret document to the agent Bob is now converted into that censored gave the secret document to censored. So this is just an example. You can replace this word with any random characters or any special symbols like that. Yeah, and we also saw managing the complex regular expressions, right? Using the verbose. So verbose method used as to uh, bifurcate the regular expressions, right? The formatting of the regular expression in a more better manner, more readable manner than a usual way to do it, right? This is how we would have written the regular expression for a phone code, phone number, right? But what if we want to put it into multiple lines in a more readable fashion? Then verbose comes handy there. Verbose allows us to put them into multiple lines and indent it properly with commented here, right? So in today's lecture, we will see how can we combine these three methods: ignore case, dot all, and verbose. Right? Ignore case, as the name suggests, is used to as the name suggests, it is used to ignore the case sensitivity. That is, it is going to match the insensitivity of the cases. And dot all is used to give the output for all the uh, all the outputs that we want to display here, right? Dot all, everything, right? And not just any first argument or first regular expression matched. Instead, it will give you everything. Dot all, right? And verbose, as I said, is used to properly format the regular expression that we want to find the pattern in the text. Now, how can we combine these three? Right, that becomes a question. But let us say that if we want to use this verbose and dot all, and let's say we want to make use of verbose to write a comment in your regular expression, and also want to use this ignore case, right? So verbose along with the ignore case for ignoring all the case sensitivity or capitalization here. But the problem here is the compiler, the re.compile function. it takes only the single value as its second argument, right? It cannot take multiple arguments. For example, in the previous, if you can recall in the previous slides, if let me just show you that compile can take only the single argument, right? But we want, if we want a multiple argument, for example here, right? It can take only single argument. This is the perfect example, right? New line regular expression is equal to re dot compile. The first argument is the regular expression itself. Second is the method that we want to execute on that regular expression. That is dot or here. That is only one argument. But let's say we want to make use of other method also. We want to combine, let's say verbose and ignore case. So, but the compiler re.compile, it only it can take only the single value as the second argument, either verbose or ignore case or dot or either of these three, right? So, but there is a facility to make use of multiple methods there as the second argument by using the bitwise OR operator, that is our type character, right? So making use of the pipe character, we can say that the regular expression should make use of the method verbose or ignore case. So if you want to put it into code, it will look like this, right? So some regular expression value is equal to re dot compile. We have this regular expression, let's say FOO, right? And the second argument, which should be actually only one method, but we want, since we want to make use of two methods here, we are going to use a bitwise OR operator, that is our pipe character, re dot ignore case or re dot. So this will allow us to use these two methods, either of these two methods, right? And similarly, when you want to make use of all the three options that we have, that is ignore case and dot on and verbose, then we can simply make use of this statement, right? So this uh, helps, this type character, that is the bitwise OR operator, helps us to make use of this all these three methods or three options here. Uh, but instead, the compiler will only you know takes only the one argument as the second argument, only one method as the second argument. But using the pipe character, we can bypass this and we can make use of multiple options there as the second argument. Right. So, having said with this, let us have a small project, a small program. So, I hope you are ready with your laptop or whoever is doing the mobile, that's fine. You can make a note of this program here and we shall execute this a small project called phone number and email address extractor, right? Phone number and email address extractor. Now, why do we have to create a project for this? The question arises: why do we have to create a program for this, right? So, phone number and email. So, when we talk about personal email IDs or individual email IDs, individual email IDs and contact numbers, it is easy to remember or note somewhere. But what if you're dealing, for example, let's say you graduate, you get into a company and you want to, you get into a company which for a role of data analyst or let's say data processing, some kind of dealing with the data, right? And you have been asked to make use of all the contacts and the phone numbers, all the contacts and the phone numbers that are available, right? So phone number and email address extractor, this program will help you to extract the email address from a particular text. Now, what can be that particular text? For example, let's say you go to a particular website, right? You go to a particular website and you want to uh, extract the email address there or and the phone numbers from that particular website and store it somewhere, right? So all you have to do is you have to make that data available in your clipboard. For example, let me show you. Let's say let's say we go to this website, right? Apple.com contacts. Okay. So in this contact, as you can see, there are a lot of phone numbers available in different formats. We have this format, we have this format. A lot of contact numbers, we have this format as well. So a lot of phone numbers present in there, but okay, there are no email addresses. Yeah. Okay. For time being, let's say let it be. We will work only for the phone number. But assume that this is a website and you have contact numbers, you have email addresses present in this particular website. So all you have to do is you have to press Control A, right? And you have to press Control C. So what it will do is it will simply copy all the data that you have selected, right? Control A and Control C. So now once we have copied this complete data, which is there in this particular website, it will be stored, it is temporarily stored in our computer memory, right? It is completely internally stored in a internal clipboard, right? As you all aware with. So if I have just have to paste this somewhere, I can just create a text file and paste this and see that it has been successfully copied into the clipboard and it is ready to paste. But what we have to do is we don't have to copy everything here, right? We don't want the remaining text. Our only area of focus here is the contact numbers, and if there are email IDs, then those email addresses as well. So let's say I copy this whole thing, right? I'll again Control A. I'll select everything and I'll just copy it. Now can I have a program that whatever I have copied from that copied text, which is actually right now stored in my internal clipboard, computer's internal clipboard, can I make a program which will help me to remove the unwanted data and only store the important data, which is for timing for me is the phone numbers, right, and the email addresses, right? So whatever that I have copied, now I cannot copy every contact number individually, right? Then I have to manually do it, like copy this thing and then paste somewhere, then copy this contact, copy this contact, copy this, and every such contact, right? So there are so many contacts here. So I don't want to do that hectic work. I have to, I want to automate it or have to find a easier way to do it. So for that, like I said, I'll just simply copy everything, right? I'll copy everything, and I'll now this is whatever I've copied here is stored in the clipboard, as I said. What I want to do is I want to create a program which deletes the unwanted or ignores the unwanted data from this copied content and only produces the desired output. That is, in this case, my phone numbers and email addresses. Whatever the phone numbers that are present in this website and all the email addresses that I want to retrieve. So can I have the program which will remove these unwanted text and store only those text that is required for me, which is phone numbers and email addresses, and then I can paste those phone numbers and email addresses wherever I want. So for that, we are going to create a program called phone number and email address extract. So we are going to copy whatever the content. It can be a website, it can be, you can create your own file, a text document, or whatever. Input can be anything. The whole point here is that you have to copy a content, and the job of your program here is to filter out the essential details from it. I think there is internet disruption in between. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So okay, I got to share the screen again. Sorry for the interruption. I think there is some internet problem. Anyways, we are going to just have a recap again, right? So I think I got stopped at this, that what we discussed, right? What we are going to do is we are going to get the text of the clipboard, find all the phone numbers as well as email address in the text, and paste them in the clipboard. Now this is theoretically what we discussed, but in programming pattern, in programming way, how we can do it? We can, as I said, we have to make use of the module which we have already discussed, Paperclip module, right? Which is used to copy and paste the strings from a particular text. Once we have this paperclip module, once we import this, we are going to create two regular expressions, one for phone number and one for email address, right? And once we have this regular expression, we are going to find all the matches for both the regular expressions. That is, all the matches for phone number and all the matches for email address. This is kind of a greedy matching approach, right? Because we want to match, we want to find all the matches, maximum possible matches, right? Uh, so this is kind of a greedy approach. Now, once we have all the matches, we have to format those matched string into a single string to paste it, right? To paste it to somewhere, some location, anything. And if we don't have any matches found, then we can simply display a message that there are no matches found or anything, right? Some meaningful message. So this is all about how can be our overall plot of designing this program, right? To start off with the program. Now let us step by step see how to go about it part by part, and how can we first take the content copied into the clipboard, then how can we create a regular expression for that, then how to group those matched object, find all the matches, and then group all the matches to display, and then finally display it. Right, so we'll see the step. First being to create the regular expression for phone number, right? And once we create, before we create the regular expression, of course, we have to make use of Paperclip module. So we have to import Paperclip as well as the regular expression module, that is RE, right? So don't forget to start your program with the shebang, that is hash symbol and then exclamation marks followed by the version of the Python, that is Python 3 in this case, right? So this is our shebang, and this is just a comment or the name or a description about the program that we have given. That is phone and email.py. That is the file name, and which does the task of finding phone numbers and email addresses on the keyboard. Right? So first things first, we have to import the Paperclip and regular expression module. Right? Once we do that, we need to create a regular expression for the phone number, right? And as we have seen the regular expression phone number in the previous class, right? We have seen the phone regular expression like this, that first three digits followed by the hyphen or space or dot, then again three digits, and then again hyphen or space or dot, and then ultimately last four digits. And then optional, there's one more optional thing, that is extension, if there is an extension. Otherwise, there might not be an extension. This is just a optional format. And in order to properly put it into a format, as I said, we are going to use a verbose method, right? Now this is about creating the regular expression for phone number. Similarly, we have to create the regular expression for email address. How? Again, we will make a variable called email regular expression, and followed by the re.compile raw. And as you can see, we are making use of this three uh, three codes, which is actually used to represent the multiple line strings, right? So we start off here and we end up here. And similarly, in the previous case also, the three quotes here indicate start of the string, and this denotes end of the string, right? Multiple line strings. Now, email address regular expression. As you must have already aware, the format of the email address, the starting, the first part of the email address can be the username, which can be anything, literally anything. You can put your name in uppercase or lowercase. You can put it in some numbers or combination of alphabets and numbers. You can put some characters which are allowed from the standards. That is, either you can make use of dot or underscore or percentage or plus symbol or even minus. These are the options. Right? And these has to be there. And please notice here that is we are making use of plus operator, which is plus character, which is used to identify one or more instances of this regular expression. So that is that. In other words, it also indicates that we need to have at least one uh, or more username. So at least one username has to be there mandatory. Followed by that will be the at the rate symbol, and then we have the domain name, which can be anything. It can be a number, it can be the alphabet, but special characters only it can have dot or hyphen. Right? That is the domain name, and then ultimately the whatever that extension that we have again, dot something, whatever that dot can be, right? Dot in, dot com, dot I2, something, anything, right? So those things can be defined in here. So this will be the regular expression for our email address, email address regular expression. Now once we have both these regular expressions with us, what we have to do is we have to find the matches in the clipboard, right? So we are going to find all the matches in the clipboard by making use of find all method, right? So find all method will help us to find all the matches, or in case if we are returning the matched object, then we can make use of the group as well as join, right? So for example, let's say we create a variable, we create a list of matches which is empty initially, and we're going to repeatedly check for the phone numbers, right? And see whether which group it belongs, and we are going to put it or amend it into the uh, list called matches, right? And similarly, how we did for the phone number, we are going to follow the same thing for the email address also by making use of the find all method and grouping whatever the output or the find the matched regular expression that we have got and amend it into the list called matches. Right now we have found out all the matches present in the text for the phone number as well as the email address. Now the next job is to copy the result into the queue. Right? How do we copy it? Again, we have to make use of the pay-per-click module. Right? We have already imported the pay-per-click module, and how can we copy it? We first have to check the length of it. It has to be definitely more than zero, right? If it is not more than zero, or if it is equal to zero, then definitely that means that there is no content in the list matches. The list is empty. Then there is nothing to be copied, right? So in order to copy something, the length has to be greater than zero. So we check for that, and we make use of the copy function first to copy all the matches, and then we print it using the print statement. A simple message first we print that copy to the clipboard just for the user to understand, and then we print the actual matches using the join function, join method, right? And if we don't have any matches found, we are simply going to put a message, a simple message that no phone numbers or email addresses found, right? So I hope this is understand you have understand this thing, how we proceed ahead part by part to this particular program called uh, phone number and email address extractor. So yeah, if you have any doubts, you can ask. The session is open for doubts or clarification. If you have any doubt, we will revisit that particular slide and we shall discuss it again. Anybody, any doubt? Yeah, please respond, guys. Any doubts with respect to what we saw for the phone number and email ID extractor? Okay. Now, okay, fine. So what we are going to do is we are going to execute this thing and see how this execution happens. So for that, let me open the Python IDE. And once you open the Python IDE, I would request everybody to follow the same thing along with me in their respective laptops. So you can open the Python IDE ideally, and the interactive shell that you get, you can create a new file there, right? Or you can simply press Control N for a new file. And once you have a new file available with you, you can simply type the code or make use of the same code which is there with us and make the code ready. Right, so I'm going to give you some time. Just we still have 20 minutes, so I would request you to execute this thing. We will take a short break. Our second lecture is also timetable is my lecture, that is application development using Python again. So in the second lecture, we will discuss the output of this particular program, right? So in the meantime, 20 minutes, I want you to uh, execute this in your laptop or mobile, wherever you are executing, and come back with the result. Okay, so meantime, you can exit from the meeting room. You can exit from here. You can start writing this code, execute this particular program, and note down the result. Take a screenshot or store that result somewhere, and later you can submit it here. But take this 20 minutes time to execute this program and let me know what do you experience. Right. So we'll take a short break here, and we shall continue after 20 minutes, right, in the second lecture. In the meantime, please, like I said, open your Python ideally, type this code or make use of the code which is available in the textbook, and execute this particular code and see what output that you get, and then we shall discuss the execution of this. Right, so you can leave the meeting room and join back again at 10:55.